Welcome to Short Film Spotlight, a show where I talk about short films for a short amount of time. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2016 masterpiece, Geist. Now, a bit of background. Geist was created by Giant Animation Studios and directed by Alex Sherwood, Ben Harper, and Sean Mullen. The movie was released on July 14, 2016. The story of Geist revolves around an injured man that washes up on a shore during a stormy evening with amnesia. Without knowing who he is or what he is doing, he spends the night in an abandoned house while he surveys his injuries from a previously unknown encounter with something. While he surveys his injuries and spends the night at the house, a lot of mysterious phenomena happen throughout the night that paints a very, very dark story. Now that you guys know the basic plot of the story, now we're going to talk about what I think is probably the most important thing that this movie shows that a lot of short films try to do, but this movie does so incredibly well that it honestly kind of makes me turn my nose up on a lot of short films, no matter how good they are, because this movie does what it sets out to do so well, and that is being able to tell a story without any words in the entire film. And that is mainly caused by the animation, which we'll talk about now. The animation in Geist is absolutely incredible. The character models, the set piece, the backgrounds, the colors of the characters, the simple facial expressions the character makes throughout the film. Every single moment of this movie is beautiful and really adds to the overall feeling that the movie tries to present throughout the entirety. The use of colors, for instance, I think is a very big portion of this movie that they really don't talk about, or that a lot of people don't really talk about, but how warm the colors are in some scenes whenever they're doing like a flashback, I think is absolutely beautiful. And just how dark and grim the actual current parts of the movie are does really show just how the situation is. Again, I'm trying to dance around what the actual ending and plot of what this all means is, because you guys need to go watch it. But all in all, the animation of this movie really makes this movie, from what I consider a good movie, like an 8 out of 10 to an absolute 10 out of 10, an absolute masterpiece that you should watch that you should watch in your lifetime. That's how good of a movie it is. And now on to the moral of the story. Now, I gotta preface this by the fact that not every single short film spotlight will have a moral segment. It really depends on the short film itself and what I personally think that the show is about. For this one, thankfully, I did kind of figure out what they're trying to go for, maybe a possible moral. But just as a bit of a preface, not every short film spotlight will have this segment. But the moral I think that Geist represents, and there's actually a couple, is possibly the horrors of war. Now, it's never shown, this is a bit of a spoiler, there's a flashback that takes place on a burning boat. And it's never shown exactly what caused the boat to be burning. The main character and his family are on the boat, of course. So I think this could represent a myriad of different things. From this could just represent, like an accident, something simply as that. But that's kind of boring. So I like to think that this is in the middle of a war, and this is just like because the way the man is dressed, it kind of brings into a picture like 1940s, 1950s, maybe 1920s. That's what I kind of think of. It could be more recent, obviously, but that's what I like to think. And this could be taking place during World War II or World War I, and the characters are just having to suffer through this horror of war. And they may not even be on either side. They could just be people that are caught up in this, maybe caught in a crossfire, and leads to the ending of the film, which is incredibly sad. That's all I'm gonna say. It's one of the hardest punching endings to a short film I have ever seen. So that's it. That's all I have for the moral. It could also talk about a fever dream. I'm not gonna go over what happens with the characters in the middle, but could it be talking about what happens at the end of the end of the movie? This entire movie could be a flashback to what happens at the end of the movie, the very end. That could be an option. There's a lot of stuff you can think of when it comes to Geist, and it's a very fascinating movie. As I said before, let's get on to the ending. But just a bit of a thing just before I get to the ending. This is an incredible movie, so let's get on to the ending. Get a fucking piece of this banana. Delicious. So, in conclusion, Geist is probably one of the closest things to a perfect short film that could possibly be made. The film itself is tells you so much story in such a short time. The characters that are shown are amazing. You get so much emotion through just simple facial expressions, through horror, through resignation of fate. There's so much in this movie. Through the absolute terror and absolute depression that the character feels throughout the film. This is an incredibly, incredibly beautiful movie. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. That's really about it when it comes to Short Film Spotlight, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the second episode of Short Film Spotlight, Geist. It will be in the description below, as always, along with the creator's YouTube channel, because I always want to support the original release. This is just my opinion on the show, because I just want to talk about something that I think is an absolute masterpiece, and if there's any masterpiece that I ever talk about in Short Film Spotlight, this would be it. So, I'm Jared from JaredJustScored. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, leave a like and maybe subscribe. Also, comment any short films you want me to react to, or not react to do a review of in the comment section, because I'd love to do it. I'm JaredJustScored, though, for the last time. I'll talk to you guys later. Also, I know it's a bit later, but quest today is, what do you think of the ending of Geist? Talk to you guys later.